What is up? Kevin here, Maria here, MK Ultra loaded, doing it on a this Friday night. What is it? August 14th, 2026. Good evening. Grab your drink. It's time to hang out for some good vibes, great conversation, and an open, respectful look into the unknown. Maria, for decades, mainstream talk about UFOs focused on sterile radar footage. I'm getting feedback. What am I doing? Now I got to focused on sterile radar footage and government files. But around here, we know the real story isn't just what's in the sky. It's the human element. It's what happens when everyday people come face to face with something that is completely flips their reality upside down. Tonight we have a ultra loaded show. First up, welcome Eric Mitchell. He's back with us. Easy E.
Love the intro.
Yeah, thank you. Who went from skeptic to documenting his own encounters in this documentary, Experiencer, that's on Tubi right now, a film exploring physical evidence, heightened consciousness, and the personal cost of carrying the truth. And helping us unpack the spiritual, theological, and psychological, maniacal, other halls, ripple effects of contact is our friend, Reverend Michael Carter. He's an ordained interfaith minister, hospital chaplain, frequent expert on ancient aliens, and a contactee himself whose groundbreaking books like Alien Scriptures and Initiation, The Spiritual Transformation of the Experiencer, bridge ancient sacred texts with modern high strangeness. Pour something good, open your mind. Let's get into the conversation. Eric and Reb in the house. Eric, start with you. What's up, my brother?
I was just wondering if vegetarians were allowed to eat animal crackers. Still working on that one, but yeah, the doctor.
I have some. My wife has some upstairs. We're both veggies, but we do eat the animal crackers.
All right.
See, there you go.
We're gonna have a private.
And you know, I do eat meat every once in a while, as she does now, for health reasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, but isn't the problem with animal crackers is that you eat them, you think all animals taste the same.
Ooh.
Frog legs taste like chicken.
Oh,
there you go.
This is terrible.
That was a bad.
Look, there goes the family audience. We did that last time. Half the country just turned off now. But the other half is there goes
So for the record, I didn't ask you this, Rev. I know you got a hard stop. You need to be done by a certain time, right?
Well, no, I figured 11:30. Look, I'm old, man. I mean, I can give you 90 minutes. I may be able to give you 2 hours. Come on now.
No, we'll shoot for 90. We will shoot for 90.
You're abusing the elderly. I may say, because my wife will probably be asleep by the time I get up. But yeah, let's do. We'll see.
Okay.
If the spirit will move us, we'll keep going.
Exactly.
And it's always good to be on. I like you guys. I like what you're about and meeting Eric tonight. So let's roll with it.
Let's grow. Before we get into the heavy.
What is that?
Or what's going on? What?
That can of whatever he brought up is taller than his head.
That's the orange juice. It's orange juice.
High gravity beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're having communion.
Yes,
Friday
sir.
night.
Did you bring your 40?
I have the wafers too. If you.
I remember I was really young. It's one of my earliest memories. It's something that I probably shouldn't have remembered. But my great grandmother, would take me to the local Catholic church. 5 o'clock in the morning. The woman had more energy than I do have now. Amazing woman, highly devout Catholic. And she brought me to my first communion, and I was with my mother and my great grandmother. And I was curious, I was so young. I was probably 5 years old. So I knew a little bit about God, but not much. And so I was learning, and they give me a nice piece of bread, and everybody's sharing the bread, and I eat the bread, and it was pretty good, pretty sweet, good stuff. And then here comes this goblet big goblet of red wine. And I'd never had wine before I was 5. This is how it all began. So I tasted it, and it was like Kool-Aid, but a little bit bitter. But I was thirsty. It was hot. So I downed the goblet.
Oh
You
my
know,
Lord.
I didn't wet my lips with the blood of the Lord. I consumed that man.
Oh my God.
And so,
Yes.
the
Yes.
adults are rushing me saying, no, you're not supposed to drink all of it. I said, no, Jesus did it and you gave it to me.
Yeah. And there are a lot of priests and clergy who know what you're talking about. So it's all good.
Best time I ever had in church.
It's all good. Yeah, I could tell you some stories, but I won't right now. That's for another show.
For another show. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of or as Maria calls it, the supper, or our supper.
Clever.
Well, I go down memory lane. I do this week in history, and I use paranormal music, whatever. So this week in history, August 15th, 1977. Anyone got a guess on what that was?
August 15th, 1977.
I think I was conceived.
in a Chevy. So August 15th, 1977, the WOW signal is detected. The event is Ohio State's Big Ear radio telescope picks up an intense 72-second narrowband signal originating from the constellation Sagittarius. Astronomer Jerry Amon circles the code and on the printout writes "wow" in red ink, thus the WOW signal.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, it remains the cleanest candidate for extraterrestrial contact ever recorded. Was it an alien beacon, military secret transmission, or cometary interference? Rev, what was your take on the WOW signal?
I just heard of it just from you, and I graduated from high school in 75, so I wasn't even thinking about this kind of stuff.
So wait a minute, you're saying you had never heard the WOW signal, or heard of this?
No, I hadn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin 1, Rev 0.
Oh my God! See, he's a competitor. You see, Eric, that was
yeah.
competition.
Yeah, no, it's
I never heard of it. But
Really?
you live and learn.
he worded that correctly. The only one reported, but throughout antiquity since then, there's been a lot of hush, high frequency bands coming through. You're looking at, and we see it once again, 1.6, 1.7 gigahertz, which is.
You've been watching Skinwalker Ranch?
I've been out to Skinwalker, yeah.
We need to talk about that on one episode because
Sure.
I'm the digressing the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. The last 2 seasons, all the testing they've done to me has been excellent on what they're trying to find. So
now, 95% of the activity that happens on that property is classified. You're not going to see it on TV, but if you go out there and see it for yourself, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
So you've seen it firsthand.
I have done a lot more than that. Yeah.
Okay. We'll save that for another show.
Yeah.
But we definitely will talk about that. But here's my problem with shows like Skinwalker Ranch and Curse of Oak Island. Clearly it's a show, and it's an episodic show. So you mean to tell me, and Rev, you've done your share of History Channel shows. You mean to tell me if they, in episode 3 of this season, got the answer, would they wait until the last episode of the season to unload it? Because for TV, that's my take when it comes to these TV shows. I do think the testing and stuff is legit, but it's made for TV.
Yeah, it's made for TV. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, Travis, I
Taylor.
can't think of his last
Taylor.
name.
Taylor.
Travis Walton.
No,
No.
Taylor. Dr. Travis
Travis.
Taylor.
Okay.
Travis
yes,
Taylor
and-
still holds a TS SEI clearance
He
with
does.
the government. And a lot of people don't know that. And he's playing both sides of the fence. The reason why he's out there is there's a craft under the ground. Well, not really a craft, but a piece of technology that was dropped off for the Indians a long, long time ago. So it's a gifting site. We know about crash sites, but gifting sites are very different. You get a very different piece of technology to help suffering at a very particular time. And they celebrated. They danced. It rained. It was wonderful. The Americans came through. They said, we have 11 more tribes, and they're going to have to share this property with you. So they dropped off the 11 more tribes. Well, it didn't get along very well at first because cramped space, limited water, middle of the desert, not very many animals, huge adjustment. But the problem was when they went to go do a ritual, the other tribes saw the sky god's gift. So now they're starting to fight and kill each other. They built a safety center for the females and the children, and they were all out war. So all the chiefs and all the medicine men got around and got together and said, you know what? We need to bury this deep in the ground to keep this away because we're not responsible. We're doing the wrong thing here. So at the top of the mesa, completely down over 400 yards, it was buried very, very deep in the ground where nobody can find it again, dig it up again. And I believe it was 1962 that somebody in the CIA had discovered some history and went out there and started looking for it. And that's when it all started with modern day discovery. I was the one actually went out there. On top of the mesa, I was at Space Wolf Research Center. That's never shown on, the TV show, but it's a whole property up there of scientists and geologists and all kinds of stuff. And I meditated. As soon as my knees hit the ground, all that information started flowing through my head. And so when I went to the owner, I said, what about the Indians and the gifting sites? And he was like, who told you about that? I said, sir, your property did. And my friend behind me, he's like, he does this kind of stuff, apologetically, like, I can't take him anywhere. But yeah, and that was the same week I left there and met with Dr. Michael P. Masters at the Phoenix conference.
Gotcha. Let me finish this this week in history. August 16th, 1942. Pretty sure none of us were born at that time. The event is the mystery of the ghost blimp. A U.S. Navy blimp patrols the California coast for enemy submarines, loses contact, and drifts inland before crash landing softly on a street in Daly City. The cockpit door was propped open, life jackets and parachutes were intact, and the two-man crew had vanished into thin air. Is this a paranormal abduction, offshore espionage, or a cover-up? Anyone familiar with this incident? Going once, going twice. 1942, that was the Battle of Los Angeles that year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's move music. August 15th through 18th, 1969. Anybody want to give a shot what that was about?
1969. That's all I heard. It's all about me.
August 15 to 18, Woodstock.
No, it's a
kicked
little
off.
bit over a month old. Sorry.
Yeah, you were
Woodstock.
Yeah, Woodstock. 400,000 counterculture youth descend on Max Yasker's dairy farm in Bethel, New York for 3 days of peace and music.
And mud.
And mud.
And drugs. And
don't sound
free
like a party
love.
pooper. Free love, yeah.
And people that don't wear pants on radio shows like us.
You're You're right. I don't have pants on either, Eric. Thanks for
I
pointing
don't
that
either.
out.
Rev,
Exactly. Rev?
Do I need an attorney here?
I like this.
You plead the fifth. That's been a very popular take. Okay. August 16, 1977. The king leaves the building. That's when Elvis died. I forgot he was only 42.
I remember. Yeah, I remember when that happened.
That was huge.
What was that? Men in Black? No, he's not dead. He just went home.
Yes. Yeah, he just went home.
Well, he did in a way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
August 15th, 1965. The Beatles play Shea Stadium. 55,000. Movie, Hollywood Lore, August 15, 1939. The Wizard of Oz, Hollywood premiere. I wasn't around for sure then. August 15, 1979. Apocalypse Now hits the theaters. That was Francis Ford Coppola's Vietnam War epic. Sports. August 16th, 2008, 2009. Usain Bolt shatters physics. This Bolt runs the 100 meter in 9.69 seconds in Beijing. Then in 2009, he went 9.58. Alien. And then August 17th, 1982, the very first commercial compact disc is pressed. CDs. ABBA, the album, The Visitors, was the first one.
Cue the Walkman.
Walkman, yeah. All right, so that was your This Week in History, guys. All right, we ready to go on a journey? Oh, me and Maria, this will be a journey for Maria. I mean, with the focal point being Eric and Rev, kind of sharing their thoughts and journeys. So, what I want to do, let me see if I want to do this right. I want to do this justice. Eric, I'm going to start with you. For starters, remind, what are you sipping tonight?
High gravity beer.
Yeah. Take us back to where your head was at before any of this started. How did you view UFO paranormal topic prior to this initial sighting?
I just thought it was crazy people. You know, I wouldn't listen to that kind of stuff, and not many people brought it up. Man, I live in the American South, the Bible Belt, so I probably had 2 people in my lifetime bring it up, and I'm just like, you're nuts. You know, single dad, no family, just work, clean, pay bills, do homework with the kids, Pixar films at night because they're hilarious, and that's it. So, nah, I wasn't even a skeptic. I never looked at the subject.
So, what was the catalyst encounter, which I understand is the orange fear, that initial event? What immediately felt different afterward?
It's almost an impossible question. I had many experiences before I can fathom digesting what was going on. Cognitive dissonance. Your brain said, no, that didn't happen. Everything's going to be fine. There's a rational explanation. And a part of you fights that the whole time. Literally the whole time. But eventually, there are hundreds of instances where your brain just kind of wakes up in the cloud and goes, you know what? I can't fight this anymore. It's happening. It's real. And then you can go right back into, your turtle shell, if you will. I saw that wink. So it's really complicated. The number one scientists I like to talk to nowadays are psychologists, because some of this is in psychology and most of it's not. you know. And so you talk to a psychiatrist for a while that's got a lot of patients, maybe two that are talking the same thing. And they realize the same patterns. And they realize that this is a science and it's happening. Something's going on. Two people that don't know each other are saying the same thing. And they're saying, what's going on here? So they reach out to me. And I tell them, this is how you talk to these people and watch what happens. Because it's not within our science yet, but it's going to be, because it's there. You know, it's literally there. I've worked with people in over 130 countries. I was working with some Indonesia ladies before I got on the show. Makasih, you know, and they're going through the exact same thing I remember. It's a process, like the death process, but it has its own bells and whistles. And you can recognize those, and you can find out exactly where they are in that process and guide them through that. Otherwise, they're going to be stuck, obsessed, and everyone around them is going to think they're crazy, including themselves. You know, so it's not simple. I wish it was.
Let me bridge Rev into this. Rev, in your book and work, your book, The Initiation, the Spiritual Transformation of the Experiencer, you address how an encounter reshapes someone's core reality. When someone gets hit with that initial shock, how does the spirit and psyche begin trying to make sense of that?
In my experience, it progresses, and I think Eric touched on it a bit, implied it, and he definitely talked about it in Experiencer. You want to be crazy. Your reality has been shattered. You want something. You want to cling to what you know was real. So, oh yeah, this is, am I really seeing this? Is this really? I want you to have a rational explanation for me.
Oh yeah,
because you talk because you're fighting for your sanity.
Mm-hmm.
And what I had found was just like doing pastoral care, and thank God for John Mack, who was a Harvard trained psychiatrist who took this seriously and kind of put experiencers on the map. What I found was helpful, because I did it the opposite way. I was in therapy for some family of origin issues later on. And so I built up enough courage to talk to the therapist. I didn't go to the therapist because I was an experiencer. I went for some other reasons. But just to have, and I was in a support group, which I strongly recommend if you can get in one, just having someone not judging me, just having a safe space where someone's not going to say, that's the sickest thing I've ever, what are you, some kind of a nut, just whether they believe me or not, just that I could feel safe enough to share that. And that starts, it's the beginning, but it's glacial. But you start to, I trust you, maybe this is happening, this is a safe space. I will share as much as I can, and I will continue to share. But you're trying to put back the pieces. I came up like you, Brother Eric, with this religious thing. I was in the South, Maryland. Some people argue whether that, but my ancestry is from the South on my mom's side. And so I had the heavy religious dogma to go through as well. But you're fragile. You are fragile, and you're living a double life, because who can you talk to about this stuff? And so it's really, and again, Eric spoke to the fragility, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And if I'm talking to you as a healthcare professional, or even as a friend, and if you may say something flippant or if dismissive, I will go back into my shell. It's like PTSD.
Oh, no, you're so right. And let's open a dialogue between me and you, because there's an awful lot that you said, and we've got to unpack that, man. And Maria, You told me I would like this guy. You didn't tell me he wrote the book. He's been involved in it. You didn't tell me any of this stuff. So
Nope.
yes,
I always
why-
want you to. I
We-
always
we-
want you to find it out
Oh.
yourself, baby.
We
That's
didn't
why-
talk about his beautiful
will be in
head
touch,
and that
Eric.
beautiful face. But hold on a
Be
second.
in
bro.
touch, Eric.
that's why I don't
Yeah,
wear
yeah.
pants on your show, so they don't get blown off.
You real quick, Eric. I want to before.
This is why I'm wearing a dress. I said I wasn't wearing pants. I'm wearing a dress.
Your little kitty back there.
I got the fan down here.
I have my dress on as well.
So,
Wearing dresses.
real
But
quick.
these are my
Eric,
I have pants on.
before we go, Eric, you referenced that you talked to Maria. You share your stuff, all of your experiences with Maria. So Maria, I'm gonna turn, let me get Maria in here.
Please.
What was, not to go too deep, but when you first connected with Eric, and just kind of take that and bring us to where we are now, so that Rev understands your role, your experience with Eric.
Yeah, because Eric what happened to him was in Arkansas. And of course, I live in Kentucky. And where he was trying to reach out to different MUFON people and things like that, he wasn't getting any kind of satisfaction or whatever. Somehow or another, he found the state director of Kentucky MUFON here at that time,
Facebook.
which I knew. And so I was not, to get me into MUFON. Anyways, he brought Eric to his home, and I was there to interview. Matter of fact, I was sitting beside him during that documentary, which I was surprised to see that. But anyway,
If you start, she's actually in the documentary.
Wow.
Yeah,
so, but
I didn't know
Everything.
until I watched it.
yeah, well, I mean, when you turn over all what evidence that you've not gotten all of, but anyway, so that's when I first met Eric. And when I first met him, I could absolutely feel the fear coming off of him,
Oh yeah.
because here he's drove from Arkansas to South Central Kentucky to meet a man he's never met before other than talk to him over the phone. I'm there, and then he has to go relive this over and over again. And then not
Yeah.
only that, doing all of these different tests with him with different instruments because of what happened to him, the frequency that he could emit from his brain. So, and Eric has always, so I didn't keep in touch with the director of MUFON because he always tried to keep everything or the state director, to keep everything hush hush to himself. And but the only way I ever found out about some of the things that was going on, and not all of them, was only because Eric has kept in touch with me to tell me everything that was going on. Eric didn't know that I didn't know that all of that was trying to be hid from MUFON, from everybody.
Yeah.
So, but over the years, I mean, everything.
Why
Eric
was
has-
that, Maria? Why? Just is it?
Can I say it, Eric?
Well, let's not bash or anything.
I'm not. I'm just saying it was.
I'll put it in a lighter note. If he turned a MUFON report in on the evidence that I had, I would be dead within a week, either by my own hand or somebody else's.
Because they've got
Ufology
so much
can be-
government in it.
Yeah, well, government, and I have seen what we call government kill people. I've seen them injure people. They have made me sick. I've spent a year and a half in my life dying with no cure. I beat it. It gets ugly, and experiencers don't need to worry. But if you're digging at their feet, they're going to come after you. But ufology will destroy you, like the Reverend was kind of pointing to. If you reach out and get called a liar or a crazy person, that sets you back 10 years. Now we're looking at all of ufology and all the fans and all the trolls coming after me while my world was falling apart. I wouldn't have made it. I would not have made it. So we did a 30-day sighting report for MUFON, and Bear only told a little bit to people that were involved, you know, and so that's the nicest way to put it. But we dove deep into what I'm capable of. I'm thankful for that, at least, you know, because I'm not struggling with, you know, things like when the first time I met Maria. I'm feeling her. I'm reading her. I'm reading the dog on the floor. I feel its emotions. I feel its energy. I feel its vibrational frequency. I feel Bear. I feel everything around me. And I didn't know how to control that. I had no idea. So when people talk about experiencers, they're talking about an external thing outside themselves. And I'm here to say it's an internal process. There's a lot more going on. It's not about the lights in the sky. It's about the light in your heart that's changing.
There it
And
is.
and you know, I
Drop the
walked.
mic. Drop the mic.
Oh, don't want
Mic
to touch
drop.
that.
Mic drop. And talking like that is what gets you in trouble.
Yes, sir. I'm in a lot of trouble.
And that's been going on 2,000 years ago, whether it's Buddha or Jesus, talking like that, because that you can't be controlled, and you empower other people. And right now you can't do that. But our resistance, I mean, you just summed it up, Eric. And yeah, and that's what scares them. Not, you know, yes, your gifts, you know, but what you just said will empower other people. So we have other Erics, and that can't be tolerated, at least not right now. And look, Eric, look, this happened with you really not that long ago, obviously, but even now we have those components in the government, that there are people who, I know some of them, who agree with Eric, agree with us, want that to get out. And then you have the other side, you have people that say, no, we can't, that's going to shake up what we have. There are even ETs that are, some are for disclosure and some aren't.
Yeah,
But what he said, what he said is the mic drop. It's about what's in your heart. It's not about, you know, I mean, greater minds than I. Yes, you want to talk about the tech and all that, but it's framed in national security. It's not helpful to have those kind of fear-based. And what Eric says, they're not worried about that. They're worried about what he's going to tell other people. And then we have more Erics.
Oh, this could get deep.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
You know, I
Please.
mean, let's call it what it is.
Can I go off? Can y'all just let me go off?
Sure. Go for it.
All right. John the Baptist. I know nowadays we dunk a little baby in the water. Everybody claps. And we eat cake, right? Now this is going to be backed by science. So John the Baptist knew something. He knew a lot about praying. So when he put his strong hands around your neck and shoved you in the water, he's giving you a traumatic experience. Now that you're having this experience, if you have this DNA, it's in certain people's DNA. It spikes a random nucleotide polymorphism within your epigenetic DNA, and it wakes it up. This junk DNA that's been sleeping in your whole family, it wakes it up, and it starts to feed into the motor function. This motor function produces the most electromagnetic fields of your brain, and it obtains over 100 billion neurons in a tiny, tiny little spot. So when John would do this to you, he would see if your mind had the ability to pray to the universe or didn't have the ability. He knew to watch the signs. It's in the old text. Now, if we look at ancient Egypt, we can see the Book of the Dead. Now, the Book of the Dead talks about a family member reaching out to the stars with his brain, and Uman-Ra comes down, the sun god, looks just like the sun, 40 feet in diameter, glowing sun, and it would visit and bless and do all these wonderful things. Now, I know, Rev, you're thinking about the Christian Bible. There's a lot more of that stuff in there, but I'm just kind of skimming through different
No,
areas.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. So
I'm
the
with
Book of the Dead says we identified a family line. If you torture them, they will have the ability to call Uman-Ra down. So now you look at the kings, 1500s, 1600s, they would always have the gesture, juggling, and everybody's laughing and having a good time. But you would always have the mystic standing right next to the king, whispering, you should do this, don't do that, or bad things are going to happen. He was intuitive. He knew exactly what to do. Fast forward to the Indians. They all had the medicine man, right?
Yeah, the shaman, the medicine
The
man.
shaman, the medicine man. So now what we do is we take these people, identify them, and we put them in aerospace because that's where they're useful. And long story short, that's what happens. I mean, these guys have been coming after me for 14 years. I won't work for them. I am for the people, and I do that for free. You know, I don't care how many zeros you throw at me. My integrity is not for sale. Netflix. Sorry, that was a burp. It was a big sip of beer. But
Yes.
but yeah, we have been here throughout all of humanity. And what is this bloodline? Well, some say related to the Nephilim. That's Rh negative blood. I didn't tell you this, Reverend, but I walked away from ufology and I started hounding the hell out of science. I don't care if they wanted to listen to me or not. They were not going to sleep right until I was done with my piece. And I gained enough information with Dr. Edgar Mitchell, the Sixth Man on the Moon,
Yeah.
Ray Hernandez, the Free Organization.
I know Ray. Yeah.
You know Ray? He was one of my clients.
I know Ray like I know the back of my hand. As a matter of fact,
Tell him
this book. He moved first. He told me he was moving to Spain. See this book? This is
he went
about
to Colombia.
UFOs. He went and then he was in Colombia. Then he was going to Spain.
I'm
And I haven't heard
responsible
from
for
him
that
about
book.
Anyway, I wrote the chapter in this book.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Who do you think got all those experiencers to get online and put their personal information in there? That was me.
Really?
Nice to meet you.
Rev,
Another
I'm telling
mic
you,
drop. Another mic drop.
this
Mic drop.
Me and Maria will not
Mic
say another word the rest of it,
No.
just to listen.
Experiencers, you know, Reverend, experiencers are not going to get online and get their personal information up unless they trusted one person at least, and that was me. They trusted me. So Edgar
Thank
and
you,
Ray.
brother.
And as a matter of fact, I was the only person that picked up the phone for Ray and was there for him. So I worked him through that process. I worked him through that. Now, his ego may not say that, but I guarantee you 2014, that's exactly
No, his ego won't say
no, and that's how I met Edgar, and that's how the Free Organization started. We were actually drinking beer, just like we're doing right now. And, well, we were pretty smashed, but we were talking about it. Screw ufology. Why isn't this in science in 2014?
Yeah. You sound like Ray. Well, he sounds like you. Yeah. It's a small planet. And but I know Ray. Yeah, and so we'll talk. But Ray said he was in Spain. He last time I talked to Ray, he said he was moving to Spain, and he said he called me, and I'm
Colombia.
still waiting. Yeah, no, he was in Colombia, and from Colombia he got married. He lost a ton of weight, and he said the last text I got from him,
he looks
Michael,
good.
I'm moving to Spain.
Oh,
and
so
but I haven't heard from him.
Yeah, he's with his wife's family now. Then, if he moved to Spain, he went with his wife's family. Yeah, and nobody's heard from him. Yeah,
but we got some connections going. Some connections going. Unbelievable.
Big ones. Got a long history. The documentary that you watched, the guys were podcasters. They just wanted to cover the very beginning, but nobody knows the whole 14 years, of my evolution and what I've been through and the trials and tribulations. But
Maria, it
tell
sounds
you.
like we need to do our first documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
will
know,
tell you.
you remind me a little bit, Eric, of the story, the structure of it is our brother who's over here, who wrote UFO of God.
Chris Bledsoe Sr.
Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.
I know Chris. He's an amazing man,
Mm-hmm.
but I am worried about who's surrounding him,
Mm-hmm.
and he won't.
I think we need to talk about
listen.
that not right now.
Gotcha.
God,
Yeah.
y'all need to get a room. What have
Yeah,
we
you get a
done here?
room, man.
I'm paying. I'm buying.
No,
I got the first round. I got the
Well,
first.
as-
We'll have communion.
I will
We'll have
tell you
communion.
too.
Out the
Bring me
way.
one.
During this whole time with, because I kind of stayed out of the picture with Eric and everything that was going on. Any evidence that was ever sent to me about anything, I immediately deleted because I never. Not that I didn't. I would like to have kept it, but to me, I didn't want. Never wanted Eric to feel like I would uncomfortable with it,
Mhm.
which
Mm-hmm.
I'm just weird that way. Anyway, one of
There's
the
a lot to be said with that. Yeah, a lot to be
so
said.
there was the one thing that Eric,
It's called integrity.
yeah, I guess I just bless his heart. He was going through hell anyways, and he didn't need
Yeah.
anybody else putting him through hell.
Exactly.
I do remember him sending me a text one time talking about an event that he was part of. Went into a room. There was a man that was in there. It was some kind of conference or something. I think Eric was at, and everybody that was at the conference had this one certain room that they went to, party room or whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah, the Dr. Michael P. Masters incident. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was the strange human that changed his life, and yeah.
So, but Eric, everything that Eric has ever told me down through the years,
It's true.
every bit of it has been true. I've never doubted it, but I erased all the evidence of it. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's good. I will say this, and Eric, you don't have to say anything, but you probably know. And I think it's probably an open secret. A lot of MUFON has been infiltrated by the government.
Mm-hmm.
The government
And
started it.
so, yeah. And so the narrative can be controlled or not controlled. So, I mean, and it's brilliant. I mean, but you're going there for help. And I'm not saying everybody is, but I have a friend who's in Michigan who is head of MUFON in a part of Michigan, but it's already infiltrated. So already there's intrigue. Can I trust you, or what are you going to use? But most people don't know that, and you're going there. But it's like once you're there, you're kind of like an open book.
Well, it's the Cold War all over again. I mean, think.
I mean, we're being listened to now.
If I was just a regular guy, got a little bit interested in UFOs, signed up to be a MUFON member, I'm on the zeitgeist of Russia, China, Uzbekistan, all these countries that are trying to figure this stuff out. I get a little phone call and say, hey, lose your evidence. How about 30 grand? How about 50 grand? MUFON's a sitting duck. It's a sitting duck for the Cold War, a different type of Cold War.
Yeah, they're infiltrated. And that doesn't mean you don't want to be a part of them.
No.
People need to know that.
Yeah. On one hand, you've got witness statements and technology. And on the other hand, you have the psychology and the psionics, these people that can do the strange things that I do. Both are useful. Both of them are, and trust me, I've had some bad people being led to me, and I've had to use my own heart, own discernment. You're going to be rich. You're going to be famous. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you that. I don't care. I don't want it. I literally don't want it. I like my cat. I like the new faucet that I just bought.
How is Mia?
I don't like
You know,
stuff. I don't like money. I don't like
Yeah.
popularity. I don't like cameras. I just don't like any of this.
Well,
Yeah.
buddy, you got to suck it up and deal with it on a Friday night with us, brother.
Yeah, no.
Cameras.
Leave it to friends to drag me on a place like this.
I know. It's like The Godfather. What Godfather 3, Michael Corleone. Every time I try to get out, they keep pulling me back in. Remember Al Pacino?
Next time I'm actually going to Southeast Asia, you know, I might,
Take us with you.
yeah, definitely will.
Our country is no, never mind.
It's bad.
That's for another time, brother.
Yeah,
That's for
another
another
time.
time.
But you know what?
Come on now.
We're
Come on
amongst
now.
friends right now. Let me shift gears real quick.
Yeah.
Eric, the mind as an antenna and historical parallels. So check it for you, Eric. In Experiencer, there's a big emphasis on the mind acting like an antenna. How do those downloads or intuitive hits feel in real time?
Once your trauma hits hard enough or your experience hits hard enough, there's a sleeping gene in your DNA that wakes up and feeds into your motor function. I don't want to stub my toe. I don't want to fall down. Basic motor function. But this genetic process that we've had in certain families for a very long time will feed into the motor function where it becomes its own 100 billion neurons in something the size of a dime. Once it reaches physical capacity, and here's where scientists are having a lot of trouble. Once it reaches physical capacity, it reaches out to different capacities. Number one, the first sign is going to be empathy. You feel other people. You feel animals. You feel the tree. You feel the ground beneath your feet. And you look around and nobody's noticing any of this stuff. None of it. You can't even explain it to somebody. And it's like, oh my God, why are people walking around and so stupid and you know, self-centered? And it's frustrating, but you love them anyway because you're an empath. You're screwed. You know, Mr. Fix It. This is why I don't date. I fix them all up so they can go out and get, you know, a piece of shit.
Eric has quite the lady fan club.
I've got the dossier. But the second step is going to be intuitive ability. You can't say psychic at Harvard University. They get their panties in a wad. That's why we're not wearing pants. So the third step.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, hold on for a minute. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Yeah, I let one out a little while ago too.
It's too tight. What I'm wearing is too tight.
Just undo them, dude. Come on.
The
We can't see it.
I'm a clergy person. I have to keep them tight.
I'll talk to your lawyer, and next Friday we can. So, the third step is going to be synchronicity and coincidence. You see synchronicities and coincidences all the time, and you follow them, and you can see that they're going to lead up to events and situations and bad things. You warn your friends about them, and you nudge them, you know, and say, hey, can't you see all the coincidence? It's adding up to failure. Don't do this. And they're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean? And it's so obvious to you, but they can't see it. And the
that's the transformation.
Yeah, I'm talking about it. Yeah,
that you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah.
That's the transformation.
We found it in neurology. We found it in neurology.
Yeah, so there's a scientific,
There's science.
and I think that's what they're afraid of.
That's what John
That's
the
what they're
Baptist will
afraid of.
do for you. Yeah.
Because you're waking
Free
up.
the people. Yeah.
Yes. Because in Greek, when he says, I mean, the way it's translated is repent, but the word metanoia in Greek doesn't mean repent.
He said
It
Greek.
means change the way you think.
Yes.
Change your consciousness.
The Greek test.
That's what he's talking about. Yes.
Yeah, the Greek test is.
And what you're talking about, brother, is and that's the key. because I'm going to use the words that are familiar to me. You can call it Buddha consciousness, you can call it Christ consciousness, but this is the spiritual trend. It's not about the nuts and bolts.
No.
It's about, what are we going to do? We have a planet that needs us to change in order to be good stewards of it before we destroy ourselves over who you sleep with, or how much melanin you got in your skin, or if you're drinking wine or beer. Yeah, I'm being facetious. And what Eric's talking about, can you imagine a whole
Population, the whole
species
world.
like this, which
The
we
whole
already have it? It just unleashes it, our intuitive ability, our being an empath, being able to have this compassion, being able to experience this oneness. And Eric said it at the mic drop at the beginning. I mean, technically, we could all go to bed, because he just, what we do is sing amen, and I'll see you next Friday. But that's what, and listen, I love Brother Greer, my brother. There are some energies that are not aligned with this. All these ETs are not here to sing Kumbaya or Imagine, but a lot of them are.
Right.
And so what Eric is talking about, and now he's got the scientific, because our culture doesn't understand it unless you can, it's some data or what have you. That's the threat.
Well,
that's the threat.
That's what me, Edgar Mitchell, and Ray Hernandez started, was to take this attention and data away from the entertainment and into real science. And that's what we did.
And Ray made some enemies because what Ray did, and Eric, you could speak to this, at least when I met Ray, Ray blended the spirit. That's what the book is about. He blended the spiritual with the scientific, because that's what these ET do. Some of them, they're very highly technological.
Yes.
Yes, the synchronicity key that Ms. Thompson's talking about. But you can blend it.
That's what I was after. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what you're talking about. But our culture is, we've leaned too much to the technological side, that we don't have the spirituality to really deal with the technology that we have. We're going to destroy ourselves.
Yeah. And put it in your next book. Nuts and bolts are okay, as long as you understand that your bolts are actually nuts.
Yes.
They're absolutely.
And no, very well. I mean, eloquent. And so this is where we are, Kevin, Maria. You know this, that how can we, that's why you have me on the show. That's why you have Eric on the show. That's why
you're on the show because you're eye candy.
Because he's lactating.
You know what? I think you're
eye candy.
You're a drunk man. But it's okay. Even my wife won't go. Even my wife doesn't go that far. She says, you look good. You look good in glasses. I didn't have my glasses on. I said, I didn't have my glasses on. She said, but I did.
Oh, wow.
That's
a great one. Mic drop for the missus.
Mic drop, brother. That's not a joke.
Yeah.
But you have Eric on here, and this is the beginning of something. Eric, we're going to be in touch.
Oh, Maria, real quick.
Eric,
let me share something. I figured this out, Maria. You'll appreciate this. These two meeting tonight, this is what really has happened. Check it.
I think we were put together.
No, it's this. Watch.
No, that's how it happens.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Right there.
That is it.
Yeah, that's it. It's like Saturday Night Live with this guy. Anyway.
All I need is Rev and a little Bev,
Hey,
I like that.
New t-shirt.
No, thanks. No, I got to say thanks to Kevin and Maria for making this happen. And we'll continue it. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I think this is what your audience listens to. I mean, when they write in chat, they want to know about this spiritual, this man has his heightened awareness now. Some people have already had it heightened. Maybe they had an NDE, maybe they had a tantric thing, whatever it is. But these experiences, not all of them, can show you and heighten the gifts that you have. And like this man is saying, I can't be bought, which already makes you dangerous. I'm freer than all of y'all because I don't want anything.
Yep.
That's a threat.
Netflix.
Well, if you're dealing with a system, you have to become a virus.
Well, this is what the Matrix was talking about, really.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, go on, Kev.
Yeah, let me. 'Cause, I do need to give my talking points because I do take the time to come up with the talking points.
No question.
Eric, you
have to write a book. Eric, you need to write a book.
Well, Maria's. Well, we'll talk about that. Eric, you documented physical anomalies and marks. How do you navigate showing physical evidence to people while protecting your peace from bad faith skeptics?
You don't.
You don't. I think
Get
that
thin skin. You get thin skin. You go to bed feeling sorry for yourself, and all this hurts, and all this is bad. You get up in the morning, and you got a couple of choices with that cup of coffee. You can throw it in your own face. You can pour it in your lap, helps you wake up faster, or you can drink it slow and focus on something better than poor little me. Poor little me ain't getting anywhere. As a matter of fact, I am happy I haven't had people feeling sorry for me all the time. I'm happy I haven't had a bunch of people going, oh my God, he's been through so much. Let me rub his feet. Oh my God, he's been through so much. I want to rub his back. I've been alone. I've been cunning. And I've shot at every hole I could find. And so I'm happy I'm not a poor little me. Do I have PTSD? Do I suffer? Yeah. Do I want my kids to go through the same thing? It's not going to happen. It's absolutely not going to happen. They are going to grow up in a world better than mine. And that's all we feel as parents, to make that happen.
That's right.
And so it's not about my kids. It's about the thousands of voices, shaky voices that reach out to me on the phone for the first time. And, I got to say, not even shaky voices, but a voice that can't even do anything. Hello? Hello?
Because they can't believe you actually answered your phone.
And they can't open their mouth. So you have to guide them. You have to lead them. You have to walk the way. Or they just hang up and they never do it again. Never do it again. I have a client in California. And I say client, but I don't charge anybody. How can you charge somebody that wants to kill themselves? It's like, hey, I helped you out. Here's your bill. I can't do that. If I did charge them, we would all be on a yacht right now with martinis.
Yes.
But I have a client in California. He's been married 50 years, happily married. He said, Eric, today's the day. I'm going to tell her. I'm going to finally tell her.
God.
And I'm like, first date, you hold the fart in the whole time. 2 years into the relationship.
Well, sometimes.
No, go on. 2 years later, you got.
Well, it took Maria 5 years with me. But
yeah. 2 weeks later, you got streaked up tighty whities in the bathroom, saying, "Hey, you mind cleaning that for me?" 50 years.
You really do talk.
Yeah, we do. We do.
50 years later, I'm going to tell her I'm an experiencer, and he knew he was going to lose his wife. He knew he was going to lose his wife. I said, no, have some confidence. It'll be okay. She's not going anywhere after 50 years, And he calls me back. He said, Eric, I am so mad at my wife right now. I said, what do you mean? Did she react badly? Do you need my help? What's going on? I can fly out there in 2 days. I could be there. He said, no. He said, I told her I was an experiencer. She nodded, thought for a minute. She said, I thought it was something like that. So she knew.
Wow.
She knew.
Okay.
She did her own homework and said, well, my husband's this particular type of person. 50 years of marriage. I would have been pissed too.
No, it's real. I mean, I talk about a little bit of initiation, but at the time the data had shown that a lot of experiencers relationships were tepid at best. and a lot of marriages and long-term relationships had dissolved because of not sharing, or one person is growing or seems to be growing in another direction, the other one seems not to be. And so there was data that shows that a lot of these relationships are difficult to sustain. Not all, obviously, but they are difficult to sustain.
Not all. I've got a new client. Her husband is a televangelist. And her being the wife, she runs all kinds of stuff. While he's on stage and he's on camera, she's running around doing 99% of the work. She has this experience, doesn't feel like the church is whole to her anymore, but she still wants to be that wife. She still wants to be that mom, but there's other things involved in this. It's not that little box anymore that she thought. It's wider, it's bigger. So she's struggling.
Yeah.
And I've seen it all. 130 different countries, microbiomes, religions, belief systems, social engineering, propaganda. But you strip it all the way, it's all the same person. And by the way, side note, relationships, if you're an empath, every narcissist on the planet wants to be with you because of natural selection. I don't have empathy. I want this person. This person's going to be mine. So most of us are with narcissistic people.
I know I was for a while. I mean, but they were the greatest teachers. It took me 10 years to get it, but yeah, I got out of that. But it was a lot of difficult lessons. What you're saying though is it's definitely spot on, because my experience has been with folks who, the first thing after I'm not crazy is, can I still believe in what I believe in? Can I still believe in a God? Can I still keep my religion and still believe in a populated universe? And I say, hell yeah, you can.
Of course you can.
The book you're reading is telling you a story of people who lived in a populated universe, and they're trying to figure it out.
Well, throughout antiquity.
The whole Bible is that.
Yeah, the first thing I did was first thing
you just
I
have
did.
to tweak it. It's bigger than you thought.
It's bigger.
Of course you can. Of course you can keep it.
I had a theologian ask me not too long ago. It's like, how the hell can you believe in God after everything you know? It's like, how the hell can my 3-pound brain conceive of what God is? We're all fooling ourselves. We're not smart enough.
There you go.
Spiritually, we're connected to it.
There you
go.
And
if you understand that,
that's the game.
You are a part of it.
But that's the other thing. Now we'll go to number 2. Now the danger is, and when I say I don't want to use it because I don't want people to go, hunker down in fear, but just know the power that you have when you're saying whether you're talking about Jesus or whoever, what they're saying is the God you think you know, the universe you think you know is so much bigger.
Yeah.
Well, I don't need you talking about that, Eric. I don't need you talking about that, Michael. I want them to be the way I want them to be because it works for me. Exactly. And so the powers that be is what I'm talking about. And so this is one of the reasons you're not hearing a lot of church folk talk. All this talk with disclosure, the Grushes, Brother Elizondo, all these people, Eric Davis, the physicist,
Oh, yeah.
You don't hear any churches talking about it. You may hear some evangelical brothers and sisters talking about it, but they still got the small mind. They're still at the angels and demons level, where what I don't understand if it's a demon or whatever. But this is bigger. Your consciousness has shifted, is what Eric is talking about. It's what I've been talking about. It's what you guys have been talking about. And there's a reason that we're not ready for that yet.
No,
we're not ready. Yeah, we don't want you talking about that.
Let me jump in. Got a word for it,
I'm sorry, Kevin, go on.
No, Eric, finish your thought. What was it?
My first 3 years was every religion I can put my hands on. And I think there's about 4,200 different religions throughout antiquity when it comes to human beings, all the way back to cave drawings. You know, I needed the truth. I didn't care what it was, but I knew it was in religion because I was going through a spiritual process. And I was still wet behind the ears.
All this talk, man, I think I'm gonna, Maria, they're gonna like drag me back into religion.
Well, no. Now let me get to this point before you.
It'll be different. It'll be different, very different.
Yeah, it'll be very different.
You're talking. I'm the atheist here. Just saying.
Well, one
thing.
thing
No, what it was is that
you were atheists believe in something, you know.
Yeah,
and he does.
An important thing that I learned is that all the religions I studied, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, all of that stuff. I mean, everything exhausted me. And what I found is that throughout antiquity, everything that's unexplainable goes to religion. Now, that's not how you do proper thinking. You know, if I don't understand Maria, she belongs in religion. If I don't understand my left shoe, it goes in religion. No. We're older now. We're wiser now. We have a bigger responsibility now than we used to. Back in the day, life was simple. It's more complicated. We have technologies that can ruin us overnight, and we're not paying attention to its implications, you know. So maybe the wheel within the wheel was a UFO with Ezekiel, excuse me, coughing fit. But how did Ezekiel explain quantum physics? How did Ezekiel explain the thin atmosphere on Mars and the chalky clay on its soil? How did he explain all these things that we can now prove with science? You know, science and religion have been headbutting each other for the longest time. But now science is going, now we understand a lot of what we've been talking about for a millennia. You know, my friends in China, you know, my older friends, not the younger ones, because they don't know the words, but they call me Zichong, 10,000 things, one suchness. Because you don't have to stand strong in your beliefs. When you walk on this planet, you have to be malleable. And when you're malleable, people tend to bend into your bend. That way, love is more prevalent. Love is more available. But at the same time, I'm allergic to it because I'm playing a dangerous game. So I don't allow love around me, except the cat that's more dangerous than me. She's on her
She'll
period.
whip your ass.
Yeah, she whip my ass. She does.
Let me segue to Rev here. Rev, in alien scriptures, extraterrestrials in the Holy Bible, which was praised by Whitley Strieber as one of the best on the subject.
Whitley's so kind.
Yeah. You highlight prophets, mystics, and biblical figures receiving direct transmission and visions. Are modern experiencers like Eazy-E here describing the exact same mechanisms recorded thousands of years ago?
I would say, yeah. I would say the difference is that we now have words for what they were trying to talk about. They were using the nomenclature and the vocabulary of the day. Flying chariots, the wheel within the wheel. He's trying to describe a technology that is thousands of years old. He doesn't know. Well, I'm just using him. Elijah,
Right.
you know. And so, but we now have the benefit of being where we are now, and we can say, oh, I know what he's talking about. We would call that a portal today. Or I know what he's talking about. We would call that a craft today. And so they knew what we're just knowing now, like we would call it back in the day, we would call it New Age. I don't like that term. There's no such thing as New Age. It's old wisdom being rediscovered. It's new to us, and so it's New Age. No,
But
this has
New
been
Age.
going. When Eric was saying, how did Ezekiel talk about quantum physics? Well, I'm thinking about when he says, when they're taking off, he says, and the Lord's hand was heavy upon me. That's gravity. He felt heavy. And he's calling it the Lord's hand because he's talking about the commander of the ship.
Yeah.
So,
Not to mention a strong electromagnetic field that pushes you down to the ground.
That's what gravity does. Gravity made you. So he's saying the Lord's hand is heavy upon me. That's not a metaphor. He's trying to describe what it felt like when they left.
That old man's going 2 hours.
And so, when we start looking at these texts, whether they're Native American or Aboriginal oral tradition, whether it's Celtic or African or Australian or American Aboriginals, or whether it's Sweden or what, all these stories talk about beings who come from the sky, and some of them, not all, help reboot or jumpstart humanity.
Boom. Boom.
And some of them, like Yahweh, for instance, who had his anger management problems and what have you, you can see he's not a God. No God gets jealous. No God tells you to go in Canaan and take folks' land. No God tells you to dash babies' heads against the stone. Nobody. That's not a God. That's another being. Yeah. But they talk about Asherah in the Old Testament, in Jeremiah. They loved Asherah. Asherah taught them how to make beer. Asherah taught what planets were poisonous and what wasn't. Asherah talked about, the book of Enoch. I'm moving away from Asherah now. When they taught us how to make cosmetics, how to make defensive weapons, how to use makeup, astrology, astronomy. Those are coming from another civilization. And it's right there. You don't have to be fluent in Greek and Hebrew. It's telling you in plain English, this is what we saw. We call them the Watchers.
Yeah, in ancient Hebrew,
okay,
the wording
right there
would be, I saw a horse in a barn and he was eating hay. Now, if you switch over to ancient Greece, there was a place called Gagabon, and it was very large. It had many people, and here are the 19 families that run this place. It would just go into very specific detail, but in ancient Hebrew, it was a horse in a barn, but, in ancient Greece, it would explain everything. Our mathematics are built on Greece to this day, because the mathematics, it's so descriptive and so advanced, so people get confused between ancient Hebrew, which really doesn't be descriptive, versus, very descriptive language, like here in America, I just farted. You say that in France, it's 9 fucking paragraphs, Oh, eagle play, long bean sit down, eat many bean, now smell really bad in front of wife, So Italian, very descriptive language, and language is very important, especially when it comes to contact, because look at a place like Indonesia. You got 17,000 islands, 700 different languages. So you don't know what the hell anybody's saying.
No, it's true. It's very. I mean, I always ask the question. Well, if Jesus spoke Aramaic, why are we reading this in Hebrew? Why are we reading this in Greek?
Right.
And I get it, but there's a lot lost in translation.
A ton.
And he may have spoke other languages. I mean, because he talks to the Roman soldiers, the centurions. So he may have spoke Latin, or so you lose a lot in translation. If you look at the Lord's Prayer, for instance, in Aramaic, very different from what we're taught now.
Extremely.
But
Yeah.
but the point being is just that if we go back, these stories are there of these beings. Now, that's not to say there is no God. I don't believe that an extraterrestrial is a God.
No.
However, our ancestors did because of the technology and what was going on. And these beings, some of them did not have time to say, no, we're not gods, but this is the message. This is what we have to give you. So, so we're getting it now in 2026. Well, they're making it public now. They've already known this stuff. I'm talking about our governments and whatever. But we're just catching on to what our ancestors knew a long, long time ago.
Yes.
We're just catching on to this.
1,000.
And because we were so clever and we were so intelligent, but we've lost ourselves in rationality. Yes, you want to be rational, but this is, most people are looking at this world as a physical, materialistic world. That's why we're so fascinated with NDEs. We're so fascinated now about people who've died and left their bodies. And now you got all these people, it's a whole industry almost. And that's okay. I'm not hating on them. But because we're hungry, we want to know that there's more to life than what I can see, touch, taste, smell, and feel. And so here we have people like Eric, other people, myself included, are talking about this whole other dimension that we're labeling the spiritual. And we need to be careful. I don't see careful like when for some people, spiritual's too woo-woo. Okay, for those people, I say spirituality is the cultivation of your inner life. Where do you draw your line in the sand? What are your values? What would you stand for? Why do you think you're here? You can call it what you want, but there is an invisible world that is more authentic and real than the world we live in because it's limited. And this is what quantum physics tells us.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, why is it, number one, we get all of our inventions by watching nature? All of them by watching nature. We can try things outside of nature and inventions fail. But if you watch a bird, aerodynamics, watch the wings, how they rotate, slow down, pick up, all that stuff, perfect flight. As a matter of fact, our government said it couldn't be done. The Wright brothers, they pulled it off. They didn't give a shit because nature. So our fastest missiles, hypersonic missiles. They were watching a very specific shrimp that would inhale a gas, turn it into something else, blow it into the water, and then it would jump through the bubble. You could jump through the bubble hyper fast and then get your prey. So they discovered this and put those gases on the top of the missiles where they can fly faster through the air. Amazing. Just watch nature and you'll find out. So
I'm sorry, go on there.
Yeah,
when I tell you,
I've got to finish. So how do we? I'm trying. Sorry. How do we see ourselves when we do these little things as human beings? We invent telephones. Why? We invent airplanes. Why do we invent airplanes? It's because there's something missing inside of humanity, the ability to connect. Why do we invent the internet? Why do we have this technology? So we can connect. But this is a plastic idea of connection. We're doing it, but it's not the real way of doing things. Real connection is not the telephone or the airplane or anything like that. It's through meditation and love and connection. And many other countries know that.
Well, in the West we don't. That's the
Close
real
the eyes,
technology.
open the mind, and open your
The
heart and
technology.
connect. And
That's the
connect.
technology.
Animals
I mean,
understand this. Insects understand this.
you
They
know,
all
when we for well, let's when we bring it to this experiential level, when I say to you that I got that these beings took me through my door. Now science says, I mean, I went right through my wall.
yeah.
Science says that that can't happen, but quantum physics is now telling us that, well, I think that's a solid wall. It's just molecules together making it look solid.
Yeah.
And they're so advanced that I just went right through the wall. I probably didn't even believe I could do that. But they didn't say, well, Michael, open the door so we can get you out to the ship. We just went, we'll wait for you. That we just went through the wall. That's the things though that makes it the high strangeness that experiencers go through. Because it just shatters everything you were told was how the world worked, how science works, how all that is off the table now because of the high strangeness of the encounters that we go through.
I had a
And and if unless you got someone who can be there to listen to that and not judge, it's a crazy world.
yeah. I had a my meditation teacher from Indonesia, fishing village, little island. You know, they don't operate on money. They wake up every morning. They don't have a name for their god, but they meditate as the sun rises to think in their minds of everyone they love and appreciate, every food they appreciate, everything that they appreciate. And when they're done, they eat breakfast and celebrate. John's got the eggs, Bob's got the lettuce. Everybody brings it to the table, right? So here's this foolish American, right? And this amazing creature we call a human being teaching me. Oh my God. Thinking back. But his wisdom went back thousands of years, with their ancient scrolls. Verbal communication, 1.5 million years in Indonesia.
Mhm.
A lot of archaeology shows that might be true. Who was it, Eric, that saw this object? My kids, 19 people in the neighborhood, MUFON people saw it, the DOD's bothering me. And he giggled. He said, silly American man, let me ask you the same question again. Who was it that saw the object? And I did. I told him it was my kids and MUFON and blah, blah, blah. And he started laughing like a 10-year-old boy. He said, you and I are going to have a big problem in understanding each other, but I'm going to help you. He said, who was it behind your eyes that saw that object? And I wept. I had no idea why I cried, but it took me years to understand that the underlying thing in your brain, I call it the gotta monster. I got to get coffee. I got to do laundry. I got to clip my toenails. I got to do this. I got to do that. Leave it alone. Make it go away. It's gone. Because you can't bother your mind with something that's not a mind. That's ridiculous. So my friend from Indonesia knows that about American people. You bother your mind with your mind, and now you want to bother me with bothering your mind with bothering me.
Yeah, that's the West. That's what we're trained.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so,
What we do.
with this materialism, and I'm not talking about financially. We're taught that if I can't see, taste, touch, smell, it doesn't exist. And so here we have these teachers that come along, and you're talking about teachers from the East, the Buddhism, the East has the same thing that it's more to life.
Yeah.
There's more to
Way
existence.
more.
And who are
Consumerism.
you? Who are you?
Consumerism.
Who are you really? Sometimes they especially in Buddhism, they give you what's called a koan. KOAN. And it could be something like, just to get you to think, what's the sound of one hand clapping? or what was your face? What did your face look like before you were born? And to the Western mind, we're like, what the are you talking about?
I know.
But
I
it's
know.
just to get us to think about, who are we
Rev,
without all this, you
I was
know?
the dumbest student he ever had, and the only American, by the way. And you were saying, how do you go through walls? You know, with ET technology, and you know, it reminded me. That's why I took that
And
turn.
it's quantum physics. Quantum physics says
Well,
that
yeah, that's why I took that
helps.
turn to.
Now,
you
when
know,
I
Master Ano.
leave, I'm going to open
What
the
he
door.
told
I'm
me.
not going to walk through my wall.
Yeah,
But
one of his
on a
students said.
molecular level,
Yeah,
that's
one of his students said, when you're
that's
done with
it's
Master
not
Ano,
real. It's not real.
you can walk through walls. And I was like, this is nuts. Sounds like Bear. Sounds like all the other people, you know, but I'll listen.
Marie, do you want to go get something to eat while they talk?
Yeah.
You stop.
Put on some pants, for God's sakes. But
Now, I know you got other questions. I know. Sorry.
but what he was telling me is that walls don't exist. They do not exist when it comes to consciousness. And then Master Ano began to teach me remote viewing. I don't do American military remote viewing, but I do their style of remote viewing. You can see through walls. You can see whatever you want to see. And it's just incredible. You know, the first time it happened to me, I was in a tent in Maine with 77 experiencers, tents everywhere. I'm in meditation, and all of a sudden I start to see these laser colors and laser shapes, but not with my eyes. It was inside my brain. And I jumped up, I ran out of my tent, probably a quarter of a mile, ran away from something that was happening in my own brain, because it freaked me out. But, you know, over the years, it became shapes and people's faces, and now I'm seeing buildings, and now I'm seeing situations and warnings and all kinds of things. You know, the earthquake, it's about to happen in California. You can see it. It's a part of humanity. You know, and there's so many cultures that are still plugged in, but we're not. We're unplugged. And so when I said I'm going to Asia, I am. I'm going there, because you think people in America know who I am? You wouldn't believe the shit I've done over there. You would not believe what I've done with people over there. And, you know, confidence is something hard to have when you're an experiencer. But when you achieve that, it's amazing. It just, you let it all go and you can do things. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of scientists that are going to come out and talk about me, and that's fine. They can say what happened. I don't care. But that doesn't mean I need to be around a place. Hey, now, Rev, you remember Muhammad Ali back in the day? Now, this is maybe a minute thing to bring up, but we live in social engineering all the time. We live in propaganda all the time. We live in this crap all the time. And basically, all you got time for is to work, drink a few beers, and go to sleep anyway. Maybe buy a new toy every now and again if you work overtime. Another distraction you can buy. Working overtime to buy a new distraction. Once you walk into another country, and not vacation, not no fanny pack, you know, stay there a week. I'm talking month, 2 months, 3 months, and integrate into that culture. You start to realize something like Muhammad Ali did. He was a black man in a world that hated black people, but he was a very talented man, and the only thing that was aimed at him was racism. So he walked away. He couldn't handle it. He's in the public eye, public camera, public everything. You know, Cassius Clay, you know, the hell with him. We need a white boxer, you know. The foolishness that's still going on today.
Yeah.
So he goes to Indonesia. He didn't box. He didn't fucking box. He never boxed over there. He didn't fight over there. Nobody would fight him anyway. What he learned is something that we like to call unlearning. I unlearned myself. I unlearned myself. I was able to look at my social engineering and realize that it wasn't true, that it wasn't right, that it wasn't fair, what was going on. He converted to Islam, which, hey, that's his choice. You know, I have no judgment. But he came back with no weight on his heart, no weight on his back, no social engineering in his mind about what he's supposed to be. And he beat the piss out of everybody in front of him because he had no limitations at that point. Your social engineering is your limitations. And once that drops, you're unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. You know, God tells us these things in so many different ways. Like he says it over and over, so many different ways that how could you miss it? How could you possibly miss it? And everybody seems to miss it. But it's like you need to let go of what's telling you what you are and what you feel, and what you want to buy and what you want to wear and who to love and who to hate. Now we got boxes in our living rooms telling us who to love, who to hate, what to wear, what to buy, and all this stuff. And we undergo that. And some of us have to sit around and watch everybody do that and go, I'm not home. I don't belong here. I don't want to buy the next best thing. I want to help the next best person that's fallen, that's hurt. That's life. This other fake shit that we're participating in is absolutely unbelievable that we participate in this stuff. Technology is great. It can help a lot of people, especially medically.
Mm-hmm.
But if we worship this shit long enough, our humanity is going to be lost, and a country that believes in their Quran is going to take our asses, and that's what they're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, long-winded.
Well, no, it's all
That's
good.
deep.
We're at 90-ish minutes on the show. I
Gonna
think.
shut me down again, I swear.
I know.
You're not the only one that gets shut down.
He works
Wow.
for the government. Don't trust him.
I think he does.
I mean, I can keep going on a little bit. I'm trying to respect everybody here. We're 90 minutes in. I mean, what is? You want to go? Keep going, or we want to just like shut it down now and come back for part 2 of our 10 episode series with you two?
Yeah, our 20, our 3-year series.
Yeah.
I mean, if I go, you guys can still carry on. You guys are going to carry on.
Well, I think we've hit a point where we can like wind this down.
He's
So,
cutting
like-
me off again, Eric. He's cutting
He's
me
like,
off
y'all
again.
settle down.
Just do a part.
No,
do another
yeah,
part.
I mean, you know what I got out of this tonight, Maria,
It
and I
was
think
wonderful.
I mean, just to have Rev and Easy